Welcome to the Pimp Your Brilliance podcast with Monique Malcolm, a show about leveraging your existing knowledge, unique skills, or passion to build a thriving creative business. I aim to show you what's really possible when you stop letting fear have all the fun and start taking action towards your goals. You can learn more about this show and subscribe for updates by visiting pimpyourbrilliance.com. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Pimp Your Brilliance. I'm so glad that you're here. This is episode 96, and you can find show notes at pimpyourbrilliance.com/96. And welcome back. Happy New Year. If you are listening to this episode, that means you survived 2020. And honestly, you deserve a medal for that because that year was crazy pants. And honestly, 2021 is kind of getting off to a rough start. So fingers crossed that it's not as bad as 2020, but I don't know. The vote is still out on that. But I am so glad to be back on the mic. If you're listening to this, this also means I'm back from my end of the year break, which was really nice. I usually try to take some time off of podcasting so I can refresh and come back with new ideas. But this holiday season, I just shut it all down. I didn't do any work. I spent a lot of time on the couch watching TV and playing Nintendo, lots of Mario. And I'm so glad that I took that time because I was tired, like really, really tired. And so this has been nice to ease into the start of the year instead of starting at this crazy frantic pace. And I hope that you are coming into this year feeling refreshed, still feeling optimistic, still feeling hopeful that maybe we can have a better year. And that's really what my money is on. You know, all jokes aside, I am still hopeful and optimistic and eagerly awaiting to see what we all do this year. Like, how do we make things better? So, you know, here's my little kumbaya moment. But today's podcast is kind of a mashup. On one hand, I got this really amazing question from a listener in the listener survey that I sent out at the end of last year. I got a ton of really great questions, and I have a listener Q&A show coming up very soon. But this question, I felt like it deserved its own episode because it was kind of where I was at mentally, thinking about what this year is going to hold. And it just felt like, okay, I'm going to do this episode all about this topic. And it really just aligned with some things that I was thinking about as I ended 2020. So today we're going to be talking about the one thing that I want fans, followers, clients, listeners to know as they head into 2021. And this is also in great alignment with my word of the year. And this will all make sense when I tell you the story in just a moment, building up a little anticipation here. But that's really what this episode is about. I'm just sharing what I feel like you may need to hear, and also how that ties into the word that I chose for this year and why I chose that word and what I think it means for myself and what I think it means for you. So that's what we're doing today. I feel like this is another one of my pep talks, but it's going to be good. It will be a little bit of a kick in the pants because I really want you to think about and challenge some of the beliefs that you hold. But, you know, I always say these things with love. It's never to be shady or make you feel bad. I really do want you to showcase your brilliance. And so here we go. Let's talk about it. So I got to give you a little bit of a backstory. And if you are on my email list, you get my weekly strokes of brilliance. You've already heard this story, but I don't care. You're going to hear it again. You're going to hear me say it in my words because it's just too good of a story not to do. So if you are on the social networks, particularly Twitter, that's where I spend a lot of time, you know about Clubhouse. It's the new social media darling. Everybody wants to get on Clubhouse because it's new. At this point, it's pretty exclusive. You can only get into Clubhouse if you get an invitation. And also, it's currently only on iOS. So you have to have an iPhone or an iPad to even activate Clubhouse. And everybody's on it. It's just one of those things I'm going to reserve my opinion of Clubhouse until a later episode maybe, but it's just, that's where everybody wants to hang out. It's a cool new place. It's a cool new place to showcase your genius. And if you don't know about Clubhouse, it's basically an audio social network. They host rooms. And in these rooms, you have moderators and you can come on the stage and talk and give a presentation. And then there's like people in the virtual audience listening. That's Clubhouse in a nutshell. So my friend Amber, you guys probably remember my friend Amber, Talk to Amber. She's on Clubhouse. She's been doing it for a couple months. And she was like, let's co-host a room together. So I was like, cool. Never done it before, but I'm down, let me know when. And she was like, oh no, we're doing this right now. So I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, we go in this room and the topic is lessons I learned during my years in entrepreneurship. And of course, she was like, you're going to go first. So I had to share my one lesson. And my lesson was, and I'm going to say this exactly how I said it on Clubhouse. These hoes ain't smarter than you. They're just louder than you. And this got such a reaction from the audience because a lot of people felt that. And what I meant by that is a lot of times we feel like we are slept on, that the people who started with us, who got ahead of us faster, or who, seem like they came in as an overnight success, everything just happened for them so quickly. We think that they are smarter than us. They have something that we don't have. They know something that we don't know. But what I have learned over the years is it's not necessarily that they're smarter than us. They're just louder. They come into rooms and they're not afraid to tell people what they do. They say their elevator pitch with conviction. They are not afraid to say, hey, this is how you can work with me. This is what I charge. Here's a link to book a call with me. Let's get to work. They're not afraid to post their work on social media. They're not, timidly sharing their podcast episodes or their newest YouTube videos just one time and just feeling like, oh, I don't want to disrupt the timeline with all of my stuff. So I'm just going to post this one time. They're out there posting and boasting and just being as loud as they can be. And because of that, they're getting noticed. They're getting the brand deals. They're getting the clients. They're having these amazing launches. And you are just sitting here trying to figure out, well, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And the thing is, they're being loud. So going back to my story a little bit. So I shared this on Twitter and it got an equal crazy reaction. My friend Anthony was like, oh, I'm going to replace the word hoes with bros. And I was like, whether it's the bros aren't smarter than you, they're just louder than you. It doesn't matter what word you put in there. The fact still remains that they're being louder than you. And then I wrote about it in my email list. And that got a few replies because I used the word hoe, which every time I say it, it makes me laugh because whatever. It's probably because people are not used to me using words like that. But if you ask my sister, I say that word a lot. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. The fact still remains that every time I shared the story with someone, a friend, a family member, whoever, it got so many just really strong reactions and people really felt what I said. And that's because I feel like for those of us who haven't made it to the place that we're trying to get, we are in that place of just trying to figure out, well, what am I doing wrong? Like, what is that person doing? I know I'm as smart as them. I know I'm as talented as them. I know I put out good content and I'm doing good work, but what are they doing that I'm not doing? And they are being loud. And I've shared this story so many times over the past 2 months since it has happened, and I can't shake it. I thought about it all December, and I had a planning session for the end of the year wrap up with the Brilliance Lounge, and I shared it with them. And even crossing into the new year, still couldn't shake it. And I mean, I felt this so intensely for weeks, and that's how I knew this was my word. This was the universe basically was like, girl, you preaching. However, you need to take a step back because you need to do the same thing. And so that is really the message that I want to share with you as we go deeper into 2021. You have to be loud, love. You're going to have to be a whole lot louder. And however loud you're being right now, you're going to need to ramp that up 500%. You're going to have to be so loud that people can't ignore you. You're going to have to be so loud that people can't walk by, that they can't miss your work. Like, that's how loud I need you to be. And I decided that this year, 2021, my word for this year is going to be loud. Loud, 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 loud. I'm actually going to make a vinyl decal and stick it on the wall in front of my computer so that I see it every day when I sit here as a reminder to be loud. And so I really just want this year to be the year that you blow your own mind. And honestly, that is going to come with you deciding to get uncomfortable, get louder, stand in your power and stand in the amazingness, your own brilliance. Like, don't be afraid of that. And when I think about being loud, I think that this means three things. So here are three key things that if you do these things this year, I promise you, if you document it, you can come back to me on December 31st, and I promise you that you will be like, man, I did it. Like, this year was crazy and I can't believe it. Because I think it comes down to three things. When I say be loud, that is having the audacity to tell people about your work. Listen, we cannot buy what we don't know that you're selling. We cannot contract you for services that we don't know that you have. We can't watch videos or listen to podcasts or blogs or whatever if we don't know that you produce them. So having the audacity to stand up and tell people about your work. This also comes down to posting about your work. You can't just post your work one time and run and hide and hope that people like it and hope that people comment. Half of your followers on the social networks are not seeing your content. Even if you're sending out an email, 100% of your people are not reading it or not seeing those emails. So sometimes you have to resend the emails to people who didn't open. But posting about your work, being confident, coming up with some kind of a schedule, some kind of a process to market and promote your work, whether this is your free content or this being your paid services, your paid products, whatever you have. And then the third thing is asking people to invest money into your work consistently. That means making more offers. That means, again, posting. That's a big thing here. Sharing. When you send your newsletters, making sure that you let people know, here's how you can work with me. But just being confident and bold enough and loud enough to ask people to invest money into your work and doing it on a consistent basis. That doesn't mean that you just do it one time this quarter and think that that's enough. You need to be doing it a lot more often than that. But I promise if you do those three things, tell people about your work, post more about your work, ask people to invest in your work, you're going to see a huge difference at the end of the year. And honestly, that breakthrough that you are waiting for, maybe this is it. Maybe these are three things that you need to do to have that breakthrough, to have your standout year in your business. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want to tell you going into this year. If you did not start this year with a fully formed plan or all your goals in place or all your systems in place or really anything in place, you're not behind. I promise you're not behind. We still have so much time in this year. And let's be honest, this year is starting off really crazy. So give yourself some grace and get back to it. Make a plan, even if it's just a few steps, not even a fully formed plan. If it's just a few steps, make that plan and get started on it. And be bold, be loud, I want us to be so loud that like we shake the windows in like the house. You know, if you ever been in a house with like the radio turned all the way up, how the windows can rattle. I want us to be so loud that like we're rattling the windows wherever we go. So that's it. That is what I want you to know heading into the remainder of 2021. And I'm excited for me. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for us because I see so many great things on the horizon for us, and I can't wait. I can't wait for us to get started. I can't wait for us to ramp it up. So that is my message. That is my word of the year. And I hope that this was encouraging and you feel inspired to go be loud and do some more. Before I go, I want to invite you to sign up for my weekly newsletter, A Stroke of Brilliance. If you're not already getting it, I don't know what you're doing because you're missing out. But every Friday, I send tips about monetizing your knowledge, building a business, using systems, and notes of inspiration because I like saying nice things to you. And it's really some of my best content. I honestly sit and read some of these newsletters over and over and just think to myself, like, I need to send this again or share this again. But I only send that content to my email list. And I really think that you should be receiving it. So if you'd like to sign up, you can visit pimpyourbrilliance.com/news and you will join the list and you'll get your first email on Friday. So there we go. That is all I have for this week's episode. But until next time, go out there and pimp your brilliance.